Man, oh man. So, first we had a live stream with the developers showing us the PvE only Dark Zone. Then we had a reveal stream where they revealed the new season and the PvE only Dark Zone. And now, a week later, because of the backlash, the developers are now piping up again to answer questions about the Dark Zone. This is not looking good. Now, I'm going to jump back to this here in a second, but let me show you what I mean. We are now week 2 into this new season. It is year 8, season 2, Into the Dark. And this is where the developers added a new hyena storyline where they took over part of the Dark Zone, made it a toxic Dark Zone, and you have to survive and extract these new sample canisters to not only, get your modifiers and journey missions done, but also your Manhunt scouts. This is a quite a crazy season. I'm not going to lie to you. The numbers have been the worst for the player base that I've seen in probably about a year. And we'll talk about that here in just a second because it seems as if what's going on in this game has nothing to do with what the community is asking for, and it just has everything to do with what the developers want to do personally. None of these things are making the community happy, and it's really showing. So much so that they had to do a hype stream to get you ready for this season. Then they did a season reveal stream, and now they're going to do a Q&A session a week later to try to get players involved. I mean, the writing's on the wall here. No one wants anything to do with the Division 2 right now. Here's why. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video, so sit back, relax, grab that popcorn, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and finally, shout out where you're from. It's cool to see where everyone is from. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and shout out the 3 most recent here. Alright, sort by newest. Shout out to Colombia. Much love from Colombia. I see you. I see you. John from Southern Europe. What's in... Can you help me out there? Oh, alright. Shout out Southern Europe, but what's you gotta help me out, dude. What's Southern Europe? Hold on. All right. And last but not least, let's see here. Shout out to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia. Philadelphia. All right. Sorry. Don't forget to shout out where you're from. It's cool to see where everyone is from. But yes, this season, the Dark Zone is required. The developers knew about that. The community said they did not want that. And here we are a week later, and the developers are still trying to understand what the community wants. This has been one of the most tone-deaf seasons that I've ever played. Yes, I personally, yes, I already have everything maxed out. Seasons maxed out, global modifiers maxed out, all that jazz. I mean, yeah, I went ahead and blew right through it. But that's because I'm used to the Dark Zone. That's because I know where the DZ chests are. I know how to farm the canisters because that's how I was doing my exotic components for the last few years. But not everyone is that DZ oriented. Not everyone understands how to speedrun DZs and how to get in and get out fast before, ish hits the fan. Now, with that being said, it's not just about being in the Dark Zone, all right? So hear me out. The Dark Zone is required, whether it be your modifiers, your seasonal journey, or your Manhunt scout. Check it out. So first, let's talk about this latest Manhunt scout, because a lot of people are getting upset about this one. So week number 2 for your Manhunt scout, and let me just go ahead and get this out of the way. This is not a high-value target. So because it's not a high value target, the devs can put all of these into the dark zone. Okay, it doesn't matter, because if it's not a high value target, then there you go, it doesn't matter, because you just have to do the high value targets to get to that climax mission at the end of the season. But what you're going to be missing out on is the weekly rewards and collectible. Every week, these Manhunt scouts come out with a new collectible to progress the seasonal timeline, the storyline, what's going on with the lore, what's up with our enemies, whatever. And if you can't do the weekly scouts, then you're not going to get access to those things, all right? Now, yes, it is required to be in the dark zone this week for scout number 2, because objective number 2, you have to sell items in the safe house. So it says the Georgetown safe house. That's the safe house that's inside of the dark zone. It's right here. So you would have to make your way inside the dark zone and then sell things in this safe house. So right off the bat, you have to be in the dark zone for this week's scout. But wait, there's more. Because objective number 3, you have to complete an extraction in the dark zone. So that's going to be another thing that is forcing you in the dark zone. So yes, you have to sell things at that safe house, but then you have to extract anywhere in any of the dark zones. Yes, this is to get people into the dark zone, but again, with this whole 80-20 split, you know the whole 80-20 rule, right? If it's an 80-20, you don't want to be on the side of the 20, all right? If 80% of everyone says, hey, it's this, and then you're like, no, the sky's red. It's, the earth is flat, whatever it is, it's not going to be good. The developers seem to be developing at the 20% margin, where, yeah, some people might be okay with this. I'm okay with it. I'm in the dark zone a lot. I mean, I get it. I don't like to be in the dark zone, not as much as the Division 1 dark zone, but I am in the dark zone a lot, especially for those exotic components. But to the rest of the community, they don't want to have to do this. You are forcing people to do this. And that's where a lot of people are like, meh, I'm not going to be playing this season. And the developers are finally seeing that it's true. They're not playing this season. Now, not only is it your Manhunt Scout that is forcing you into the dark zone, it's your seasonal journey. Your seasonal journey, mind you, is the only way to get your gear set blueprints. So your gear set blueprints are all locked behind mission 6 in your journey. You can't just reach season level 100 anymore during your season and get all the blueprints. You can't do that anymore. They have now locked the gear set blueprints behind the modifiers, behind the seasonal journey. And the seasonal journey is locked behind the modifiers. If you look at these are all based off of your modifiers, all of these. I mean, this one's the dark zone with a modifier equipped. This one's donate canisters to max out your modifier. All of these are all modifiers. So right off the rip, you cannot get this month's or this season's gear set blueprints without having to do the modifiers, which then also requires you to be in the dark zone. So all of this is revolving around you have to do the dark zone, and the community is like, nah, man, we're not doing this crap. Because not only did the players just want a PvE only dark zone, but you're forcing people to play with PvP rebalancing. That is another 80-20 thing that's going around the community, where 80% of the people are like, why the hell would you do this? And then the other 20% is like, well, maybe they're trying to do this to like baby us into the dark zone, and maybe we'll try PvP after this. Where 80% of the people are like, yo, shut up. No one's trying to maybe PvP. Shut up. No one's trying to maybe baby their way into the dark zone. People just wanted a PvE only dark zone. Why couldn't they do that? Instead, we have this toxic mess where it has this stupid loud noise this ringing in your ear the whole time you're in the PvE only Dark Zone, and you're getting weaker. So you have to then be subject to PvP rebalancing, even though you're not going to PvP. You're then subject to toxicity debuffs that nobody asked for. And you're making it to where they have to farm for that stabilization agent in order to extract. So you're forcing people into a dark zone that they did not ask for. You're making it harder for the people that did not want it to be harder. And you're making it rebalanced with PvP when they don't want to PvP. So you might understand now where this is all going to shit, right? Where the developers are so tone deaf with the community, they're not understanding why the numbers are so low. Now you might be asking yourself, Kami, are you being are you being a little upset about this? Is this a little, is this a little much? And I would say, no. Here, check it out. Check this out. So here are the Steam charts right now. These are the Steam charts. Okay? The Steam charts are the lowest player base in our game. This is the lowest because Steam just came out a couple years ago. If you go to all, you would see that Steam just came out in 2023. Okay? So we're now on the 3rd year of Steam. The game's been out 8 years. Okay? So that's a telltale sign right here. All right? We're looking at the lowest player base. But check this out. 6 months ago, this is where it all happened. Right around February, okay, they announced the seasonal, the seasonal anniversary, giving us Division 1 stuff. They promised survivors, they promised a new DLC, they promised crossplay, and they promised a new incursion. All right? Survivors is on its way. We'll get our hands on it next week for some of us. But for the rest of us, we have to wait till November, right? So November is going to be the 10-year anniversary of Survival, and we're going to get Survivors. We already know that's happening in November. Crossplay has no date. They're saying that they're still working on it. So crossplay is still out of the picture. The new incursion is supposed to be at the end of the season, so maybe August, maybe. But by the looks of these numbers, they might want to push up the incursion a little bit quicker because this whole pushing everyone in the dark zone and making the dark zone required is killing the player base. So here's the last 6 months, right? And if we go to the last 6 months, even in December, we were at over 7,600 people playing concurrently on Steam. That's a lot more than 5,000. That was last December, before anything was announced. This 27,000 player peak just happened. It just happened right here in February. Because that's when they announced crossplay, the incursion, the new DLC. They announced all of that right here, okay? So it got everyone and their mom hyped. So you had everyone in your pocket. And then they came out with what? Realism mode. Realism mode took a hard hit, man. It took a hard hit. Not gonna lie, it did. And then what else? Well, nothing else really. So they did that, and then here we go. It's dwindling all the way down to 5,000 players. So in a span of February, March to June, we went from 27,000 down to 5. That is why the developers are doing this. And if we go back to the game, okay, not only are they forcing you to go into the dark zone for your modifiers to even get your blueprints that you would normally just get for playing the game, but then they're doing it for your actual sample canisters. So it says right here, collect your sample canisters from the toxic dark zones and turn them in for high quality munitions. Now, yes, there are other ways of getting these sample canisters. You have a chance of getting them from a elite hyena kill squad, but you're not going to get an elite hyena kill squad every time. So it's at a chance. points. The only guaranteed way is the Dark Zone. And it even tells you get them from the Dark Zone. And then when you have your active modifiers, it uses those canisters. So if it's using those canisters, you need the canisters, or you're not going to get the full effects. And if you're not going to get the full effects and you're not going to get these high quality munitions, then why would you even use the modifiers? You can see where all of it is forcing you into the Dark Zone. All of it. Now, yes, you could play the same game this whole season without the modifiers and just enjoy yourself like we did during the pandemic. But this is 2026. This is supposed to be the year of the division. They just had Resurgence and crickets. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on here. But the writing's on the wall. And that's why tomorrow, if you want, you can go up to Reddit and you can do their new Q&A, ask me anything session, which is crazy that they're doing this on Reddit, but whatever. I'll read their questions later. But this is what they posted earlier today. You got any questions about PvP or the Dark Zone? What's funny is they're asking this week 2 into the season, where they already did 2 live streams explaining it. So this is going to be their 3rd interaction with the community about this, and they're still wondering what's going on with people. To me, the writing's on the wall. It's like, bro, they didn't want this. They wanted a normal PvE Dark Zone. Why would you then PvP rebalance them? Like this, it makes, and then you're going to make it harder with the toxicity debuffs. It's making all the PvE people say, yeah, screw this, I'm out. And then the PvP people are like, yo, where's the PvP? So nobody's happy right now. And they're going to jump onto Reddit and I guess get some answers. Why are you looking for answers on Reddit is number one. I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems crazy. This season is crazy to me. And I know I'm not the only one because I'm seeing you guys pipe up in the comments. And a lot of them say the same thing, man. Not this season. I'll see you next season, Doom. All right, brother. See you next season. I'm out. And it's like, come on, man. Really? This is the first time we got a PvE only Dark Zone and even the PvE people don't want it? Damn. Like, come on, man. Not to mention how many people are saying that we're just beta testing survivors. That's horrible. And then they're making these changes to where it's only for the season. So if you don't like it, you can just come back next season, which is fine. But how are you ever supposed to grow a community if you're just going to kick them to the curb every few months? You know what I mean? It's just crazy to me. So all of this information... So all of this information and more is on my Twitter page, X if you're nasty. Follow me over here at Kamikazevondoom to get anything Division related before I make a YouTube video. But you could see after their Reddit post, so after their Reddit post, they posted 3 more times today. They posted about this, explaining the Dark Zone. They posted about this, the Dark Zone rewards. And they're asking you to go to the Ask Me Anything for tomorrow. And then they also posted that there's a new paid for pass for Resurgence. Man, oh man. A lot is going down. A lot is going down. I don't know if it's good, but a lot is going down, which is another thing that's crazy to me. Is that if these developers have so many people on their team right now and they're all hands on deck and doing this and that to help fix the game, why is it the community feels less loved than ever? You know what I mean? If your whole thing is about building up hype to make your brand even bigger, wouldn't you want your community to be there too? It seems like they only want us to have like short-term memory. It's like, hey guys, come give us money for bundles and then we'll see you next season. Hey guys, come give us money for this and then we'll see you next season. And it's like, dude, what about the people that have been here for a fucking decade? What about those people? What about the people that have been here for 5-6 years seeing all this crap? What about those people? What about those? I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to see what kind of questions they get asked tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be anything outside of their, HR team. They're going to have some pretty nice, softballs up there, and we'll go through them. But this Steam chart is just atrocious. Because look at this. Look, I showed you the 20%. Look at this. It went down 40% the month before. It went down 25% the month before. What is that? 25, 65, 85? It's gone down a combined negative 85% since March. So since the big hype, hey guys, crossplay, hey guys, incursion, hey guys, new DLC, hey guys, PvE only Dark Zone, and now we're down 85% in 90 days. 85%. Woo! I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll weather this storm just like we've weathered all the storms with this franchise, but man, oh man, I just really wish they would reach out to the community more. Doing this whole like damage control after the fact is just not working. And we all know damn well what's happening and not happening in the ETF because we see it. All right. I don't know, man. Hopefully, after next week, we get some better, feels about what's to come. But outside of that, I hope they do something. But this season seems to be one of the worst seasons we've had in years. And this is when we've had the most content and the most devs working on this team. It's very concerning. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm sorry about the negative video. I'm just relaying the news. I wish it was better. I truly do. I do. If they gave us a PvE only Dark Zone that allowed you to use your prototype gear, that would have made all the PvE people happy. This whole toxicity debuff crap and then PvP rebalancing is not needed. What they should have done is they should have done one PvP, one toxic Dark Zone, and then one full-on PvE with prototype gear. This whole balanced PvP Dark Zone is useless. And if they truly wanted to test this toxicity Dark Zone out, they could have done it separately. But telling people it's a PvE only Dark Zone and then adding all of these new mechanics to it is really a slap in the face. It shows that not only do they not play in the Dark Zone, but they don't even understand what people want in the Dark Zone. They just threw a whole bunch of mechanics from like survival and then said, here you go, here's your PvE only Dark Zone. And it's like, dude, who asked for this shit? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's going to be it for this little rant. I hope you enjoyed. If the journey was worth it, let me know. Shout out where you're from. I'm Kamikaze.